Hello and welcome to another VanTech Tuesday. Got a few questions for you this week, but I apologise straight away if there are any weird noises outside. We've had to move. People didn't like us, apparently, because we're in a motorhome, and the only thing I can think of is that they're jealous because they think we're actually on holiday, even though we keep telling them we're not. And we've got like their hallway's worth of space compared to the house that they live in. But hey ho. It's just where we are, but I apologise for any noises from around outside and stuff like that. So first question is, are we still using the Neos smart cams? I did review them, so down in the video description there'll be a review of them, but yeah, they're fantastic. 20 quid, you can't argue. So every time we go out we switch it on and we can see what's going on inside. We get a notification on the phone if movements detected, which sometimes, like if you've got your skylight open, it can be, a bird flying over, or, even just the change between sun and cloudy or something like that. But it picks up on sounds as well, and obviously if we leave Cooper in the van, it means we can keep an eye on him while we're out. So yeah, absolutely love it. I wish they'd make something that was like that size or a bit smaller that you could use outside, that was waterproof, so I could use them all around the van. Because for 20 quid, I mean, I'd have everywhere, all over the van, and I'd have access to them in the cloud and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, maybe one day. So the next question is, have you thought about using wind generators? And the answer is yes, I've thought about it, but then I've thought about, there isn't wind all the time. That's the first issue. And then you're going to have they're quite big and bulky really, and you're going to have that whoosh 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 noise, and then the vibration associated with it, and blah blah blah. Oh no, I get great power off the solar even on rainy winter days. So no, I've not thought about wind turbines really. Next question is, are you living off savings or the proceeds of your house, or are you living off the money YouTube pays you? YouTube doesn't pay us that much money. Shock horror. I think we get about in excess of maybe a couple of £100 between, I don't know, because it does fluctuate, between £200 and £300 a month off YouTube. So it helps. It goes towards fuel costs and stuff like that, but it's not enough to live off, no way. And we're not basically living off savings, we're not living off the proceeds from our house sale. I actually work as a consultant, and I can work on the telephone or I can work remotely, which is why we have the daft 4G kind of Wi-Fi set up in a van that works everywhere. And yeah, I earn my money that pays for us to go travelling. And speaking of travelling, the next question is, how long do we plan on travelling for? And what is our end goal? Are we going to buy a house or whatever? Now the COVID situation has meant obviously a big chunk of time's been taken out of the kind of 1 to 2 years we thought we'd be travelling for. However, that was when we lived in a house and we only went away for weeks or weekends. Since we've been travelling full time, and more importantly since we've been in COVID kind of lockdown here, it's a bit difficult to get this point across really. But you might have a house and you're complaining, I've been locked down in my house. We've got a motorhome that's about the size of, an average, I don't know, average small bedroom or something like that, hallway or something. And we're finding it. It's brilliant. So, yeah, it might be a shock to you, but we're all right in the space. It's certainly not going to affect us travelling because of the space. We feel it's decent enough to carry on travelling. Our original plan was 1 to 2 years. However, now with this van and our kind of mindset now of travelling and everything there is to see, I haven't got any issues carrying on 5 to 10 years. And I think our end goal was always going to be maybe we get a static caravan, or maybe we get a house. But now I think we might actually get land somewhere. So yeah, who knows? We'll have to wait and see really. Next question again is related to the motorhome, and it's, do you prefer the extra space in the motorhome or the easier parking of your old campervan? And that's really kind of easy, I guess. I would probably count on one hand the amount of times where I would envisage in my head that I would struggle to park this van where the old van would have got us there. One was those stupid tight tunnels in Gibraltar. This would have never have got there. And the other ones, you know, things like Cratera and stuff like that we did in Portugal, we would have got somewhere on that beach. Would we have got to the same point or not? I don't know, is the answer to that one. But I would say, you know, if there's only 5 times in 6 months, then it's not worth it, is it? It's quite clear. Go for the space. So yeah, no, definitely don't regret swapping the campervan out for this. This has been a brilliant move. Next question is, what's the difference on my battery charger between bulk and float? And I guess this could be for B2B or solar controller or whatever, and it's the same sort of thing. Bulk is, you know, give it as much as it can handle, and I guess that's dependent on the batteries you've got. For example, if you have lithium batteries, bulk could mean like everything possibly that your engine battery charger or your solar battery charger or whatever can handle. If you've got lead acid or AGM, it could be that it's given its maximum, which is around about 20%, they say, just to kind of keep the batteries safe and everything else. So it could be giving it a lot of power, bulk, and float is almost the opposite. Float is basically just about keeping that state of charge. So it could be, you know, maybe 1 or 2% of its charge capacity or charge ability, but it's just enough power coming from the charger to keep your battery topped up, so it's always going to be fully charged. So if you've got a, you know, like an inverter on and you switch the inverter on and start using it, that's going to take charge through your batteries. So your batteries will dip, your charger will say, oh, I need more power, and then top it back up again and hopefully keep that float, so that when you turn your inverter off, your battery's still going to be fully charged. Someone's asked, did I ever show how to convert my window catcher, you know, the sort of squeegee one that you use in winter when you get the condensation on your windows, did I ever show how to convert that to be charged off of USB? I did speak about it when we were out in Spain or something like that, and at the time I showed you me converting my shaver. Not had a shave for a while though, might need a shave, and then I did the catcher at the same time. And didn't show both being done because it's an identical thing really. So if you go back to watch that video, then you know it is just chopping the wires off. It's 5 volts that it says on the back of the mains adapter. So you chop the wires off, get a USB cable, chop the wires off and match plus and minus to each other, and that's it. 5 volt charging off USB. Right then, the last question relates to e-bikes, and it's how am I charging our e-bikes in the motorhome? And to be honest with you, because of this whole situation where we've been getting a bit of annoyance from people complaining and bothering us and banging on the van, and the police have been turning up and blah blah blah, my main aim has been to get the van finished so we can go and travel and find new park-ups. So I've been quite lazy and I've been using the Power Oak or the van's inverter to charge the e-bikes. However, I am, once it all settles down and stuff like that, I am going to look at getting a voltage converter so that I can take 12 volts to 48 volts, which is the voltage on the back of the 230 volt power brick that the e-bikes have. I think it's about 2 or 3 amps or something like that. So it's easily chargeable at a 12 volt kind of outlet. I just need to find one of those little converters on there, and that's all I'll do. Just simple as really. They're usually about a tenner and they convert 12 volts to 24 volts or 48 volts or something like that. So I'll link them down below just in case you're interested and you want something like that anyway. Right, well, thank you very much for watching another one of our videos, and in our next vlog you'll understand what happened with why we moved and all that kind of stuff. If you follow us on Instagram, you'll just get more up-to-date information that way, so you'll know what's going on. But yeah, we've had to move, unfortunately. People have blinkers on and they just think that everyone should live in houses. Oh, I think one of the policemen actually turned up and said that. Why don't you buy a house? Why don't you just rent a house for lockdown? So yeah, you know, it is what it is, isn't it? I'm not going to get into it in one of these videos, but people are very blinkered in their view of what's normal. If it's normal in their life, then anything outside of that must be abnormal, and if it's abnormal, then some people think, you know, that's just plain wrong. I guess that's just it really, isn't it? So there's just not a lot you can do other than take yourself away from that kind of situation, which is what we've done. Right then, thank you very much for watching this week's video. I'll catch you on the next one. You take care. Bye.